Hey guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here to talk about Peter Monn for a few minutes. There have been some things happening on his channel, and I also saw a post on his Reddit page, and I just want to talk to you guys because this is a conversation that I think will be an interesting one, and we're gonna just have a discussion. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so this isn't going to be a reaction or anything like that. I just have some points from Peter's video that I wrote down that I think are really good talking points. I want to come at this conversation not just as somebody who consumes Peter's videos, but somebody who also has a drama, commentary, tea, whatever reaction channel, whatever you want to label my channel at this point. I really don't care. I'm just kind of over the, oh, well, you're a drama channel and that's a tea channel and that's a gossip channel and whatever you want to call my channel. I don't care. That's fine. I think because I make kind of similar content to Peter. You know, he covers a lot of people that I've only covered sporadically, and I cover people that he hasn't covered, but the idea is still the same. It's an opinion commentary based or a commentary opinion based channel. So I think that most of you guys will understand kind of where I'm kind of trying to come at this from. And I want to be very transparent that yes, I have talked about Peter recently because I had a bad take on Peter a long time ago. It's been 2.5 years now, but that followed me for a very long time. I had a bad take. I was sent a clip from somebody. It was taken out of context. I didn't pull my end of the bargain and do the proper amount of research. But unfortunately, even though I remediated the situation very quickly and did what I felt was best, and that was to remove the videos and also take the small amount of AdSense that I had from that video and do an animal shelter donation. I've already talked about that, but I know that there will be some new viewers on this video, so I just want to give you guys kind of the rundown of my stance with Peter. But I've been a supporter of his channel for a very long time. There are periods in time where I watch more than other times, but as most of y'all know, I have a channel of my own and I have a life and a full-time job outside of YouTube. So I can't always dedicate as much time as I would like to watching people's videos, but if it's a topic I'm really interested in, then I'll multitask and listen while I'm editing or listen while I'm cleaning, or you know, you guys get the idea. Recently, he has been in his, you know, kind of standing up for himself era. He has made that very clear. He has vocalized that, you know, in the past he has allowed kind of things to be, he's allowed things to be said about him that were not fair, but he either took it on the chin or didn't make a really big fuss about it and just kind of, you know, in order to save his subscribers. And I guess he did his best to kind of like not muddy the waters, and you know, that's what he did for a long time. But he has made the decision that that era is over, and if there is something that he wants to say, he's going to say it. If he needs to clarify something, he's going to clarify it, and he's going to say exactly how he feels. And hey, it's his channel, his content, his decisions that run what's published on his channel. So I cannot say, well, you know, oh, well, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do this. Yeah, of course, like we all have opinions of, well, you know, maybe I would have worded that a little bit differently. Oh, maybe I would have talked about this a little bit longer than it was talked about. Like we are all, as human beings, very opinionated people. Some of us decide to jump on YouTube, some of us don't. I think this new era of Peter has sort of caught some people off guard and rubbed some people a little bit in the wrong way, and I'm going to explain why I think that might be as we get into this video. But if you guys don't know what's been going on the past couple of days, he decided to talk about Rosanna Pansino. I mentioned her in my last Colleen Ballinger video because it was being talked about, her issue with Mr. Beast, and then you know, obviously the conversation that has been growing, and Peter has really been leading this conversation of talking about protectors. Who are the people that are saying crickets on people like James Charles and Colleen Ballinger? And it is worth a conversation. I am here to talk about it. I will echo things that Peter either says or brings light to, because I'm happy to have the conversation, even if it's not a popular one or an easy one. I think that if you guys look back on the catalog of my content, I will talk about things that are not popular and might not get a lot of views, or might not make me the most likable person. But I'm here to talk about the things that I want to talk about at that moment in time. But basically what has happened over the last couple of days is Peter came out with his video. He said some things in that video that people did not like, they didn't agree with. They were basically, you know, he talked about Rosanna Pansino going to some kind of like theme Mario World or something like that, and eating everything at this theme park. And, you know, he didn't favor that kind of content, and he had some very surface level opinions about this. And this is the thing that I don't understand, like him just saying some things about Rosanna Pansino because people find her to be unproblematic. I think that this is being completely blown out of proportion. But he said some things that people didn't really care for about Rosanna. I listened back to his videos that he made because I wanted to make sure that, you know, maybe he did say something that was totally out of line and out of pocket. And that's why there are a select group of people that are so upset with these opinions that were shared. But, you know, honestly, I didn't find anything in his video that just made me want to pull my hair out because it was so wild and outlandish. But nevertheless, you know, he received some backlash about his opinions. People were essentially taking his opinions that he was making fun of women who are gamers, and he was called a misogynist, which I completely disagree with. Let me make it very clear. That's a really heavy label to place on somebody, especially when there's no evidence to support those claims. That's not just simply saying, I don't like somebody and they're annoying and this is stupid. Labeling somebody as a misogynist, if you're labeling somebody as a misogynist or somebody who is homophobic or ableist, I would hope that you have actual evidence to back up those claims. And just based off of the videos that I saw about him sharing his opinions about Rosanna, I did not see somebody that was sitting on their front porch that was showing anything that was remotely misogynistic. And there are absolutely misogynistic people on this platform. There have actually been a very small group of misogynists that I have covered on my own channel. So I don't appreciate that. You can say, I don't like this opinion and I think that you're just being a big old hater. That is completely different than coming out and saying that somebody is misogynistic or phobic or phobic. So either way, two videos that Peter has published over the last 24 hours, one of which he really dives in deep to the backlash that he's been receiving. And this is where I want to get into the kind of some of the takeaways that I had. Of course, I will link his videos down below. If you guys want to go and watch all these videos and come up with your own conclusion, I always encourage anybody who watches my channel, whether you're a subscriber or somebody who's not subscribed and watches casually, either way, it is always encouraged that you guys go and look at this stuff for yourself, come up with your own conclusion, because my opinion is just one of billions out there. So the first thing that one of the first things that he addresses is this idea of subscribers and watchers of YouTube saying that Peter used to be so sweet, and them not necessarily understanding that sometimes people are sweet because they are just being used as a doormat, and that is exactly how Peter described himself. So I'm not coming up with that out of nowhere. He directly said that he used to be a doormat, and he is just over not speaking up for himself. And I think that that can be quite a shift for watchers and subscribers to kind of witness that shift. If you're used to watching somebody for 4, 5, 6, 7 years, and they are, just sweet as pie and never, you know, kind of share their outright opinions, and it's always kind of filtered and surface level. And then you see them come out and really say exactly how they feel, and those feelings are laced with, cuss words. Instead of putting a quarter in the cuss jar, Peter is now using profanity on his channel, which is his choice to do. But I think that it's the being so forthcoming with how he's feeling, combined with, I've seen several people say that they just do not like the amount of cussing that he's doing on his channel now. And I think that that can be a bit of an adjustment period for subscribers. And some of them will take it like, oh my God, who is this person that I'm watching? And some will say, well, this is obviously somebody who, this is kind of their new chapter, and this is them, and they're being transparent instead of being, quiet and reserved. And some choose to stay, and some choose to leave. When it comes to cussing, I know that some of y'all have taken note of my own videos where I used to use a lot more profanity, but now I do my best to, watch myself. But if and when there is that, I try to mute it out. For me personally, I just made the decision that I was going to try to express my thoughts with less profanity. That's just what is working for my channel for right now. Is it going to be like that forever? I don't know, because I can't tell the future. But there are people on both sides of the argument. Some people are like, oh, I miss your old videos where, there were cuss words and, whatever. And there are other people, current day, where they're like, thank you for using less profanity and expressing yourself with words that are not just cuss words. And so it just depends. It depends. Like, there are so many different personalities that can gravitate towards your channel and find your content and like your content. And then there are people who are going to like, some of it and not all of it. And that's just okay. That's just what an internet society is. It's a melting pot of a bunch of different personalities who like a bunch of different kinds of things. And so for Peter cussing, if you like it, fine. If you don't like it, fine. I do think that it can shed a light on maybe why some people are feeling like, well, this isn't the Peter that I've been watching for the last 6 years. I think that it has something to do with a few things. I think it has to do with him being so forthcoming with how he feels, and precisely what is making him feel this way, and expressing those feelings now using at times very strong and direct language. And I think that I've seen some people leave the comment of, I feel like I'm being yelled at. And that's not the Peter that I know. And I can understand why, if you're using a channel as kind of a outlet, like, oh, this is, after work, I'm so stressed out, I just want to unplug and watch YouTube. I can understand why that would be off-putting to some people. But on the other side, I also try to understand Peter, and I try to understand his frustrations of some of the things that he sees, like people excusing individuals like Shane Dawson and Colleen Bellinger, and just relentlessly defending these YouTubers who they don't know, and these YouTubers don't care about them. So I try to see both sides of it, but I do think that that is a little bit of an explanation as to why people are having the opinion this is not the Peter that I've been watching for the last 3, 4, 5 years, etc. Now let's talk about the allegation that he covered of him deleting comments. Peter says that he does not delete comments unless he is being kind of attacked over and over again, if somebody is being outright cruel and just disgusting. But if it's just somebody who is in disagreement with him, he will leave those comments there. And I've kind of changed my opinion on deleting comments over the last couple of years, because when I first came to YouTube and I was covering Without a Crystal Ball, a lot of people, said that Katie Joy was just like, her full-time thing was deleting comments and blocking people from her channel. The thing that I want to say about deleting comments is I have also seen it on the other side of the argument, where somebody really wants something to be mad at this YouTuber for, and kind of paint them to be this like, crazy control freak. So what the subscriber or YouTube user will do is leave a comment, and then they will delete their own comment and be like, oh, look, they deleted my comment. They can't deal with my criticism. So with the deleting comments thing, it's really just like a he said, she said, or he said kind of thing. I tend to not spend a whole lot of time on that claim, because there's really no like 110% way to prove, okay, this is exactly what happened, because it could be the subscriber just saying that, it could be the YouTuber accidentally deleting something, or they actually deleted it. Who knows? Now, Peter does touch on the parasocial relationship aspect of things. He has highlighted people who have left comments and saying, I really have a parasocial relationship with you, and, kind of like their frustrations at times and things along those lines. When it comes to parasocial relationships, the thing that I want to say about this is, I always encourage people to not get parasocially connected to anybody that they watch online. And I understand that that might be easier said than done to some degree, because being parasocially connected to somebody isn't necessarily the worst of the worst that we always hear about. It could just mean that you were parasocially connected to somebody that you saw yourself in, you really related to them, you're, you guys are from the same state, you went to the same college, you have the same family dynamic, you have a lot of the same interests, and that's kind of your cap of the parasocial connection that you share with this YouTuber. So it's not all bad, but when it comes to somebody being parasocially connected and then also feeling that level of frustration, it can definitely impact them in a different way than it might impact somebody who is just a casual watcher and is just not parasocially connected at all to somebody. But that's also kind of the territory. If you're being your authentic self and people are connecting with that, I mean, what can you do? Like, because you can put on a front and then other people might parasocially connect with that side. Like, I don't know. I encourage it to be healthy, have a healthy connection with the people that you're watching online, because at one point in time, everybody messes up. And I feel like that impact will be a little bit less and a little bit, not as hurtful to the subscriber when they're not parasocially connected, or at least they're aware of, I care for this person that I have been watching for, 6 years. But I don't know, the parasocial thing is, that could be videos on itself, which I've touched on before. Peter talks about the 3 times that he has received an insane amount of backlash on YouTube, and I wanted to touch on those really quick. He says that the first time that he got a lot of backlash and lost, like he said, thousands of subscribers was when he said that the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star collab was a cash grab. And if you think of that situation in its entirety, is that really crazy? Is that really that crazy? I mean, I agree with him. I don't know why on earth anybody would be upset by somebody thinking that something is a cash grab. I was a little surprised by that, but then thinking back to kind of the fandom that was surrounding Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star, specifically when they were together and making a lot of content and doing, you know, that collab and stuff like that, it makes sense, but it also just is such a reminder of the figures that people allow to become mega, you know, celebrity status YouTubers, and it's kind of sad. Then he talks about the Raw Beauty Christie video, and he says that the third was the Rosanna Pansino. And I want the Rosanna Pansino video over the last couple of days and things that he's dealing with now. What I want to say about these two is that these are examples of YouTubers that a lot of people have painted as unproblematic. They can do no wrong. Why is Peter picking on them? How dare Peter pick on these, you know, two lovely, just, you know, golden little stars that we have on social media? What I want to say about that is anybody truly unproblematic? And if you say that they are, you can't really say that as a guarantee because you don't know these people behind the scenes. And I will say what I've said before, if you are protecting predators and you are zip it crickets, when it comes to literally talking about people being predatory, I think that just tells me everything that I need to know, so I don't want to focus on that too much, but I did think that that was a little interesting. Those are the 3 times, because that to me, like, having opinions on these things should, like, really, that's what we're mad about, guys? But either way. He then goes on to talking about announcing departures. When you are watching a YouTuber and you decide to unsubscribe from their channel, there are certain people who just have to say, I'm unsubscribing. And I've always said, if you're going to announce your departure and give you know, some insight on, okay, this is why I'm unsubscribing, and it's, you know, kind of like a, I'm exiting, but here's some feedback, whether or not you want to hear it, and it's constructive and not name calling or rude. I find nothing wrong with that. The problem is that most people just simply announce their departure to get a reaction, or they think that they're going to like leave the YouTuber quaking in their boots because they lost a subscriber and you you know, had to announce your departure. I don't know. To me, like, I can see the value in it. Okay, you supported this person for so long and now you're seeing your way out, but you had some actually like constructive feedback for them that you were going to leave on the way out. I don't see a problem with that. But if you're simply just saying that to like make a point and you know, you're thinking that somebody is going to be so upset over it, I just don't think that it's going to be the reaction that you think it might be, but either way. Peter also talks about how announcing your departure is not going to make him change. I kind of have a little bit of a different stance on that because, like I said, I think that if you're able to leave a little bit of feedback and it's something that I actually need to reflect on, like, I will take it into consideration. Does that mean that I'm going to change? Not necessarily, but I will at least take it into consideration and give it a little bit of thought. But like I said, most people are just like, I'm leaving because, you know, you're annoying or you're being a Karen or whatever. The next thing that he talked about, I found very, very interesting because I can relate to this. He was talking about how different drama channels have different standards. Like, subscribers can subscribe to 5 different drama channels, but they hold each of those creators to a different set of standards. So I will tell you guys, like, my standards for a YouTube creator. My standards is I expect you to not be a bully. I expect you to not be homophobic, transphobic, overall just like hateful towards the LGBTQIA plus community. And I expect you to not be ableist. I expect you to I expect you to right your wrongs once it's brought to your attention. And if you were actually wrong, address it, even if it's like a community post or like a YouTube short. I would hope that if this was proven that you put something out that was 100% just like made up, totally not real, you had everything wrong about it, I would hope that it would be at least like briefly addressed, because integrity is really big with me. But I do think that part is interesting because some drama channels and some YouTubers will just be able to get away with whatever. And their bad behavior is ignored. But then you have this other channel where their feet are held to the fire if they step out of line or get one thing incorrect. But then you have this other person over here who is getting things wrong all the time, constantly being toxic, problematic, and hateful, and they are, you know, not called out. And I do think that part is very interesting. There are certain things that I would never be able to say or do because I would just, you know, I would never be able to, even if it was a mistake, I would never be able to make it up because I would just be, you know, it would be a thing for the next 2 years. I know that people hold me to a different set of standards than they might hold other people to, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but my whole thing is like, I have a very specific set of core values that I want to see from a YouTuber. And, you know, aside from that, I think that it's a pretty fluid situation. Just don't be an, you know, don't be an asshole. Okay. That's kind of my rule. Don't be an asshole. One thing that Peter said that really caught me off guard, and I don't know if he was joking or if this is some kind of like inside joke between a commenter and him, but I really hope that it's just a joke. Someone left a comment saying that they like Sniper Wolf, and Peter agreed that he likes Sniper Wolf. What I will say about him saying that he likes Sniper Wolf is, Peter, please do your research into Sniper Wolf. I hope that that was just like some kind of joke that maybe like went over my head, because Sniper Wolf is a and a bully, and those are definitely two traits that, you know, I don't support, and I wouldn't think Peter would support either if he was aware of the situation. So I really hope that that was a joke, but that was the one thing that he said that I was like, no, don't do that. You know, he made a lot of good points in his video, and I can tell that Peter is frustrated, and I just felt like I wanted to make this video as kind of a voice of support, because I feel like now in this current time, I am, you know, finally able to be very vocal with my support of Peter. But either way, with these last couple of videos, I could feel Peter's frustration through the screen as I was watching this, and I just wanted to be a voice of support to him. I know how frustrating it can feel sometimes to feel like I just can't win. If I'm, you know, being really nice, then I'm gonna, you know, ruin my mental health because I'm just keeping all of this stuff bottled up and I can't be my authentic self. And then you're your authentic self, but then you might be a little bit too direct, and you might be using more profanity than some people want to hear because they didn't hear that from you for several years, but you're being your authentic self and you want to stand up for yourself. But then in exchange, you're being called a misogynist, even though you are not showing any signs of being misogynistic at all. And that is extremely hurtful. So then you respond to that, and then it's taken personally because you're responding to something that somebody said that hurt you because they didn't like your opinion. It can all just really ravel, and it can be very frustrating from the seat of a creator. So I just wanted to, you know, voice some support. If you guys want, go watch his videos and, like I said, come up with your own conclusion. And then if you want, come back and leave a comment, or leave a comment now if you're, you know, well aware of this situation and you already have an opinion that you want to share. But I think that's going to be it for tonight. So if you liked the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.